I love this topic. I have been doing a ton of research and reading so many thought leaders of today, and it has just become so apparent over the last 6.5, 7 years that I've been studying the human design system. Also studying, Greg Braden, Dr. Dispenza, Bruce Lipton. Oh, geez. There's probably way more of them on my shelf. But delving into their information, I'm going to do some videos and just show the correlation between human design and what they are speaking about when they are discovering this kind of, when they're discovering through their own experiments what's taking place in the scientific world. And the marrying of that into the esoteric world. I like, they use the language of human design. They use that language. And what's beautiful is that it really just solidifies this system for me just a little bit more. But anyways, so human design, the genetic code and epigenetics. Like, epigenetics has become the new buzzword. And biohacking, that's another new buzzword. And we're going to get into that as well in some videos, because it's interesting to take this information into a really interesting path. So, what is human design? And most of you guys probably have a pretty good idea. So it's a complex system that encompasses the, ancient sciences, and it also marries the new science, that new quantum physics, together. The system offers an opportunity to experiment and explore with our unique mechanics. It's an experiment. It's an observation, and it's an observation, and it's a self-awareness tool on your path to self-actualization. Again, not a belief system, not a religion, not a cult. It is a complex yet simple system for empowering our authentic self within the confinements of our specific meat suit. So if you see here this rave mandala that I have on the side, this is the frequency, this is my instrument to play with. And this instrument that I'm playing is going to emanate a particular frequency when I operate from my true self. When I operate from my not self, it's also emanating a frequency that does not sound very nice. So the entire foundation of the system is designed to have us awaken to the consciousness of our bodies and to make decisions from this consciousness versus the chaos and distraction of our not self. The not self is the openness in the body graph. So this openness is either a homogenizing, a conditioning field, or a great place of wisdom. And I'm going to get into those conversations down the road. But homogenization and conditioning is all about being in a state of conformity. When we conform, conformity is a killer. This whole system introduces us to, taking that wisdom of that openness, of that not self, and making it a place of great wisdom, and being able to, use that wisdom to our benefit. However, if coming from the not self and letting the chaos and distraction of our minds make the decisions, totally different story. All of a sudden, there's disrepair, there's chaos, and there's distraction. So each cell has a nucleus, that floats in the cytoplasm, similar to like a yolk inside of an egg. The nucleus holds our chromosomes, There's 26 supercoiled molecules, and each one of those contains up to 300 million pairs of genetic letters called our nucleic acids. It's all just a big code. We're just coding. No different than coding a computer. And the fun part about it is that people like Greg Braden, you know, they're right there. They're saying this is a computer simulation because it's all about coding. So we are just catching up to intellectually to what the big scheme is here. So the DNA is one. So the DNA in one of our cells, all 7.8 billion pairs of chromosomes, would end up totaling nearly 3 meters long. That's in each one of our cells. So the DNA from all of our cells, strung end to end, you know, would reach the moon and back at least 5,000 times. So know that that's a lot of chemical information that's in the body. However, what's really, really interesting is that your genes only take up about 2% of your DNA. The 98% of the remainder is considered junk DNA. That 98% is the relational self. So understanding that as the not self. The not self is here to be in relation to other people. So, and this relational self is how you relate to others and how you interact with others. The 2% is your student. So that's the true self activations that are in your human design. And this is how you learn and the who that others are meeting. So if you just take a look at, here we go. When we take a look here at this, my design, you'll see here that anything that's activated or colored in, that's my 2%. That's my instrument. That's me. And the 98% is everything that's open. And you can see in the coding here, you know, 2% of it's me, 98% of it is not me. So my genes and human design. So when you look at the body graph, you know, this body graph for this mandala is produced the moment that you exit your mother. You see my genetic code. That's my genetic code right there. The genetic code, this is my nature. And the genes function as a relatively static repository of encoded data. It's always there. That's what I can rely on. That's an energy that I contain within my frequency. It's not going anywhere. It's not changing. It's right there. So this is, like I say, your instrument. This is the instrument that I'm playing in the orchestra of life. So when our instrument is in tune, the music we play is clean and crisp. The music is being played through the openness. So I, you know, strum my guitar or I beat on my drums. And depending on how in tune I am is really how you can hear me. If there's lots of static happening, you know, I'm really probably not coming from a clear place. And maybe you're not either. But if it is clear and crisp, easily understood, that's a clear, pretty good indication that the true self is being utilized, that strength is being utilized. So the functions and centers and the gates and traits that are colored in create my definition within the body graph. This definition is the place within that is consistent, reliable, and this is a place where I can operate my meat suit from, and I know that no matter what is presented to me in life, I can meet it, and I can still come out of the experience with satisfaction because I'm operating through that true self. So here's what I'm going to say, and this is this is where they're going with epigenetics. Genes do not determine the health and wellness of the body and life. In a sense, our lifestyle, in choosing the best decisions or not, we are programming our genetic code to either repair or disrepair. This leads us into epigenetics. Okay, so what is epigenetics? It's the study of changes in organisms caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. Very critical here. So, epigenetics and the junk DNA. Unlike DNA, the junk DNA seems to be designed for change, both over the short term, within our lifetimes, and over periods of several generations and longer. Very interesting. It appears that the junk DNA assists biology in making key decisions for the well-being of the body. This subject can definitely get really complex, and it kind of takes us into stem cells, and I'm not going there because I'm not a scientist. In design, the junk DNA are the open centers, the open functions, the open gates, the open traits. We experience life through this openness, and it can do two things, okay? So it can be a place of conditioning where the not self or the homogenized self tries to expend energy, trying to be what it is not, making chaotic decisions, creating dis-ease or disrepair and unbalance. The form can then be changed in a negative way. So again, it's the modification of gene expression rather than the alteration of the genetic code itself. When we're living through the not self, when we're making decisions through the chaos and distraction of our minds, it alters that expression of the genes, right? It modifies that expression. So when Ra was doing all of this research, and he was close to 30 years in design from the time he downloaded it to the time he parted, let go of his meat suit. But in that length of time, what became really apparent to him is when people were in a state of disrepair or illness, dis-ease, what usually took place is that the dis-ease happened in the centers that were defined because there was a modification to that gene expression. The openness let in the disrepair, let in the dis-ease, but then it resides within the genetic modification of that, the modification of that gene expression. So that was really interesting for him. So he was already on the, he was already on the leading edge of all of this back when he was, here on this planet. So the second thing that can happen here is that our junk DNA can be a place of great wisdom and profit potential. And again, something that's coming in the future. The form functions at a high level of wellness when we are using those open centers to be a place of wisdom. This is where the form and the body is able to repair as the decisions being made are from the health of the body's consciousness, not from the chaos and distraction of the mind. Our minds are beautiful, beautiful, when we're using them correctly. So we are conditioned by or allowed wisdom to flow from these places, the transits, other people, our families, and our place of work. So with a clear understanding of the mechanical function of your energy, you can support your body, your mind, and your energy in ways that will assist the body to repair. And the life to unfold as it is meant to unfold, challenges and all. challenges and all, people. This system isn't going to make your life rainbows and sunshine. It's going to give you the tools to meet life where you're at. So key factors in living from authenticity. So you get to make decisions from the body's consciousness. This relieves the mind from exhaustion and creates a space within the mind to explore and experience the life in a new way. The primary health system. This is beautiful. This resides right in this little corridor here. And the course takes in all the information, brings in all the information, and resides right here. That primary health system, that is for your form, for your vessel. It's your meat suit. And when seeing it and being able to understand it in a completely different way, creates a highly functioning vessel to experience your life within. So what's the best environment for your form to thrive within? This has absolutely nothing. How do I put this? It's about being human. We are already spiritual beings. Human design allows you to embody your humanness. You are spiritual. There's such a quest for spirituality. Well, if you don't know how to operate your human, the spirituality is always going to be just that little touch away, because the decisions are still being made from the not-self place. So it's important for our physicality, our meat suit to, be nourished correctly and to be put in a place where they can highly function. So with our minds, there's ability to let the healthy mind be the passenger in this moving vehicle. You're able to see life in a perspective that is healthy for you. So again, the mind is not here to be your decision-making tool. It is here to be a passenger. And just relax in the back seat of that limousine and be in absolute satisfaction and surprise and peace and success when the consciousness of the body moves through this Maya. And then the motivation that stimulates the nature of your design and learns the wisdom of what you are seeing and experiencing. So our minds are not decision-making. Our minds are motivators and perceivers. There's a range that your mind is here to operate from. And what happens is that we try so hard to get our minds to make decisions. Dave Asprey, the gentleman that created the bulletproof diet, and let me tell you, if you want to, uptick your life just a little bit, check that diet out. It's not a diet. It's it's really kind of like a lifestyle. He had a woman track her decisions for a day that she was making, and I'm not going to be totally certain about this, but she got up between 6 and 7 and tracked everything till about 6 o'clock at night, and by that time she was so exhausted she couldn't do it anymore. But in that 11, 12-hour period, there was 1,876 different decisions that she was trying to make in her mind. And she knows that she missed quite a few. She was trying to tick them every time that they were happening. But decision exhaustion, mental exhaustion, and that mental disrepair was like happening. She had brain fog. It was really interesting. It's really interesting to just hear him talk about it. But when you're living through that authenticity of design, the mind doesn't have to be exhausted. There doesn't have to be that mental tension that's happening, because the body's just operating. So some of the benefits, I could probably go on for days and days and days about the benefit of the human design system. But the body gets to relax and not be on edge. When the not-self mind is trying to be in control, your body's trying to brace, because it's never really sure what kind of shit show the mind is going to throw at it. Decisions become a flow state. Who doesn't want to be in the flow state? Life is about experiences. We're not here to be in the drudgery of life. No, we're here to have those experiences and see them as experiences, and meet those challenges. And when we make the decision through the true self, there's a flow state that happens. There's no more resistance. The resistance is, very, very minute. In the split second, maybe there might be a little bit of resistance, but no matter what you meet, it's like, oh, okay, great, a new experience. Good or bad. Good or bad. So instead of avoiding decisions or regretting having made the wrong decision, you get to trust the consciousness of your being and just step into the flow of life. Having a conversation with a friend, what was it, a week and a half ago or something like that? And she's like, I've always tried to push against the flow. Well, yeah, we want to push against the conformity, but we don't want to push against the flow. When we allow for the flow state to take place in the body, totally different than conformity. Conformity, you want to push up against, right? Or I don't even want to say avoid or push up against. Those aren't really the right words, but you don't want to be a sheeple. Conformity isn't healthy, but flow state is definitely healthy. So you get to watch the joy and desires play out. Seeing and experience exactly what you're designed for. Profiting in a healthy way. No longer chasing money, but living correctly and letting money flow through your design. Everything's energy. Everything's energy. So just allow it to be. The moment that we place a higher value of something outside of us, that is going to create disrepair. It's going to create disrepair. And repairing the disease or disrepair in the body. Again, the body is an extraordinary compilation of energy, matter, information, whatever you want to call it. Once we de-stress, it takes away that resistance, that resistance of the not-self decision-making. So the body can then repair. Resistance creates the disrepair. So stopping the generational stories and the unhealthy decisions from running the body. You want to be in the flow state. You don't want to be in the chaos and distraction and disrepair or unbalanced state. So benefits for the family, seeing the family dynamic through the mechanics of the design. Shedding any shame. There doesn't need to be any shame. It's all mechanics. And I love looking at my family in this way. Totally made me go, oh, okay, I get it. So the mechanics are what they are, and there is no need to hold on to shame. There's a deep freedom to know how this imprint is carried within your life and how you are always returned back to your uniqueness as an individual. Again, that junk DNA, it can carry a lot of junk information. Or it can go, hold on a minute, I don't need to be in the state of disrepair. I can completely repair this if I look at these experiences differently, good or bad. So the benefits to a small business, you get to know the skills that are necessary to operate a small business. These are innate skills that are in some people, and as a small business, why wouldn't you want to have a highly profitable, highly functioning small business? And human design and the BG5 system can perfectly engineer a small business. This stuff is fun for me. The benefits of a large business. Communication is the cornerstone to success in a large business. So the human design system and what we call the OC16 bring a new, deeper understanding to these lines of communication. And then engineering a large business, it's definitely not a small feat, but when you have the mechanical understanding of what innate skills your people bring to the table and the role they are best suited for, you can create a business like no other. It's not about pushing up against what you're not. It's about honoring who you are and then allowing for those skills and that communication to be, healthy. So it's a healthy you and a healthy bottom line. So there's something else I wanted to say here in the family piece. And now I forget. So anyways, so here I am. If any of this intrigues you, and as an entrepreneur, you want to know how to profit. As a small business, you want to understand the skills of your people and you want to understand your people better. Large business, you want to, comprehend how to engineer that in a healthier fashion, or just on a personal level. You want to come to a place of amazing self-actualization. I will do what I can to coach and consult you in a place and meet you where you are and take you to that highly expressed self, because that's what I love. The self-awareness that this system brings is just absolutely unbelievable. Having conversations with some of my friends and clients, and they have spent thousands and thousands of dollars doing all kinds of different exploration in the spiritual world, and they're still going, they don't get it. But when they step into human design, and my caveat is, I don't want you, well, I shouldn't say I don't want, probably not best for your body to be doing any other kind of practices if you're going to step into human design. Just because in my experience with my clients, there actually becomes this, the body gets very confused and, bounces back and forth from health to repair, health to repair, health to repair. So I'm not saying that we can't do it, but, when we have a conversation, it's definitely going to be, okay, where are you? Let's meet you right where you're at. And let's work with you from that place. And if you're going to step into this, it's stepping in. It's not just dipping your toe in. It's stepping in. If you want to absolutely change your life. And, of course, I'm an advocate for this information. I love it. I watch what it does for people when they actually utilize it. So, thank you very much for letting me into your world here for a little bit. Yeah, this was a little bit longer video, but I think it's so worth us having a real innate sense of how deep this system can take us. So, thank you, and I really hope to meet you and be able to work with you. Thank you.